We are back at South by in the RV reporting for ArabNet. I'm Nima. We have one of my favorite people on the planet, Jason Best, with us today. I have a new name for you. It's the godfather of crowdfunding. We're actually one of the three.
One of the three.
So Jason Best is, I don't even know what to say, but you basically built crowdfunding, or the bill, or tell us what you've done. Thanks for making time. Awesome to have you here in the RV.
Thank you. Great to be here. Great to chat with you always. So crowdfunding is really a really old thing. It's friends and family financing. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
The crowdfunding investing bill that we created was really to say, if I can give away money to artists on Kickstarter that I believe in, if I can lend money to entrepreneurs in other countries through Kiva, why can't I make investments in businesses I use in my own community or entrepreneurs I believe in? And it was crazy to us that the laws that were written to govern how you could make investments were written in 1933, back before the telephone was in most people's homes. And we're living here we are at South by in Twitter and Facebook land, right? So it just seemed crazy. And so we said, all right, let's just create this framework that spells out for the regulators and the Congress how we believe you should work so that you can it balances the needs of investors, of entrepreneurs, and regulators. And then we took that to Washington. We walked it around. We banged on doors, and we, testified in front of Congress and worked with the House, the Senate, the White House, and got it passed.
Literally, I get goosebumps when you tell the story. And so we have a funny story of how you and I met.
Yeah.
We were at an event. I think it was the Global Entrepreneur Summit in Santa Clara, and we were crowdfunding for something we're doing with the Middle East. And then we were using Square. So I walk out of this conference room, and I see you on the phone, and it just says, Jason Best, crowdfunding. I'm like, hey, what's up? And you're on the phone, literally. And 10 minutes later, you come up to me like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, we're crowdfunding using Square. You're like, that's awesome. Anyway, so 10 minutes into the conversation, we find out we have the same birthday. You're super cool. I mean, the fact that I, just
randomly
ran into you, and it wasn't even like that we met or someone introduced us, but it was just this funny little way of meeting someone, and we've turned out to be good friends. But I just I have the utmost respect for you and what you've done.
Well, thank you.
You've now released a book.
Yep. Crowdfunding Investing for Dummies.
Awesome.
Of the For Dummies series. Some people ask if it's by dummies, but actually it's for dummies. It's basically, the whole concept is, how do we make it really, really simple for people to understand as an entrepreneur, how do I raise money through crowdfunding investing?
Yeah.
But also as an investor, how should I really think about evaluating these things? So I think it's very important for people to understand both sides, because making investments in small businesses and startups is a high risk investment.
Of course.
So you should never put all your investable capital in that. You should diversify yourself. This should be a small percentage of your investments. But certainly for people who are looking for a way to support entrepreneurs and small business people they believe in, it's a fantastic mechanism.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I see really cool campaigns all over the place. For example, the burning of the Jocelyn Mosque in Missouri raised double what they were trying to do. There's all these cool little gadgets that are raising money now, but it really now there's vertical specific for film or for music and all these platforms. And so you're also evangelizing this around the world. Every time I talk to you, you're like, I'm getting on a plane. I'm here. I'm in Doha. I'm in Dubai. I'm
exactly.
in Europe. But so you're really running around evangelizing for crowdfunding all over the world. You were just in Dubai at the Global Entrepreneur Summit.
Yep.
You're headed to Doha for the MIT competition. So, this is a lot of work, and it's just really incredible to me that you've taken this initiative, and you're evangelizing for all the entrepreneurs. You really, in that sense, that's why I call you the Godfather.
Well,
the trickle effect is amazing.
Well, it's so much fun. I mean, and the thing is that we were at an event in Istanbul, Turkey last year, and we were talking about the Jobs Act and what's happening in the U.S. And somebody stood up in the crowd and said, look, because we talked about how the fact it'd be great for jobs and innovation and entrepreneurship, and someone stood up and said, look, jobs and innovation, entrepreneurship, that's not just an American problem, that's a global problem. Of course, right? And so it really was a thing that we said, okay, look, we need to start spending a lot of our time really talking about this globally. And so that's where we really shifted to say, okay, let's go to the MENA region, let's go to Europe, let's go to South America, let's go to Asia, let's we're headed to South Africa in May, really sort of talking about this globally, because the number one problem with starting a business is not smart people. There's lots of smart people in the world. There are lots of great ideas. There are lots of talent out there. It's about how do you provide the capital to put it all together to make it go.
Yeah.
And we really see this as having huge opportunity in lots of places, because you've got this ability to say, how do I make friends and like at the very easiest level, how do I make friends and family financing easier?
Yep.
And so now friends and family isn't just blood relatives anymore. It's all of my social network. And so many countries, including so many countries in the MENA region, have incredibly active social networks.
Totally.
Incredible. And so how do you then turn those, how do you convert likes and fans and tweets and retweets into customers and investors?
Yeah, of course.
And
you know what's funny? So I've talked to a few people, and a lot of companies now are almost even using crowdfunding, like to beta test their products, to get feedback. Some companies launch something in one color, as a perk, and it doesn't. People don't like it; they like the other color. So they're getting all this input, this feedback, and it's amazing. Literally, I hear all these cool companies. One of them, for example, Epiphany glasses. I actually won a pair. So it's these glasses that have a camera built in, and you can wear them, and it's supposed to be able to capture your life. And so they ran a crowdfunding campaign, I think on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, raised some money, built a prototype, and then they pitched Tim Draper by writing a song, and he saw that they'd gotten all the support, and they actually raised money. So like 0 to 60 in literally like seconds, not seconds, but
well, by comparison, right? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, crowdfunding, I think, has a tremendous opportunity, because when most people go to pitch a VC or an angel, I mean, 98% of the time, those guys say no.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they say no. 99.9. They say no. And sometimes it's legitimate reasons, because the person isn't ready for capital. Yeah. They're not ready for what they can provide. And so what we say is, look, if you can use crowdfunding to do exactly the thing you just said, you're exactly right, by saying, how do I get a customer? How do I build a prototype? How do I demonstrate product market fit?
Yeah.
How do I show that I can execute? Because if you go to a VC after you've raised $200,000, you've built a prototype, you've got 2 customers, you've learned how to do it, you've got a reproducible model, the power dynamic is completely different. Of course. You now are like, well, how you like me now, right? I mean, how much you going to give me? How can we make this work? And I think it's exciting. Well,
the other thing is also, the 99.9% of the time that they do say no, it's not a VC fundable company, right?
Right.
And that literally, for a lot of people, kills their dream or their opportunity to build something that is still cool, and that's still, in America we call it a lifestyle business. But there's nothing wrong with building a cool gadget or a product or whatever, raising $50,000, $100,000, which a lot of times that kind of gets you going. And especially if you have customers that are giving feedback and sharing it, that's really the spark that you potentially just need. And to be honest, maybe not taking venture money is even better, So
yeah, I mean, look, most businesses in America do cool things and are highly successful, highly profitable, awesome businesses that are just not right for the VC model.
Exactly.
And so what this does is it provides something other than a bank loan or having one rich relative to be able to make it work for you.
Well, and the banks at this point,
they're not lending.
They're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care how many times Bank of America puts a press release out talking about a new loan program. I have yet to find anybody who's gotten a loan from them. I mean,
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So yeah, it really, I think the opportunity for someone in the middle of nowhere, and that's Iowa or Egypt or somewhere somewhere that's kind of disconnected, to get something viral, to raise enough money to get started, to me, that's economic development at its best, and it's very organic, and it's, instant feedback, and you've actually literally increased your go-to-market timeline by exponential factors, and so that's super, super cool. Along the way, hurdles, problems, like where do the opportunities lie? What's some of the things that you've run across, and tell us a couple stories of
of the fight to make it legal. So one of the things, I guess, when we were working on the whole legalization of crowdfunding, there are a couple of big lessons we learned that I think have a lot of applicability to entrepreneurs and just business people generally. And they sound kind of obvious, but frankly, it took us a while to kind of get it. One is sell what people are buying.
Yeah.
And when we were taking this law and making it, taking this proposal and trying to make it law, it was 2011. The U.S. was in the depths of the economic recession, and the thing that legislators were buying and Congress was buying was jobs, innovation, and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, totally.
And so that's what we went and sold. We said, look, this crowdfund investing will give you those three things. So that was good. Number two, showing up. Again, we all get used to social networks and sort of keeping in touch virtually. DC is old school, and I think most government folks are old school. And nothing replaces showing up in someone's office and telling them what your story is and what your solution is. Number three, when you do show up in the office, come with a solution, not a problem. Because most people go to officials and people in ministries or people wherever, and they say, here's this problem, help me.
Yeah.
And most of those people that's not their job to kind of figure it out.
They don't even know what they're...
If you go and you say, here's the problem and here are the two ways I think we can solve it, then you've got this really interesting dynamic where you make them the champion of your idea. They can be the leader. They can get the credit for that great idea, and you get what you need to build your business.
Totally. That's awesome. And again, I'm a big proponent of helping entrepreneurs everywhere, and I think getting this really global is going to create more entrepreneurs and more really cool businesses that may have not made it. So I want to thank you personally on behalf of every entrepreneur on the planet.
Thank you.
And so, again, you are focusing a lot on the MENA region.
Yep.
Because that is there's a even bigger gap as far as potential funding. So kudos to you.
I think that there are so many, like when we were in Dubai and other places we've been in the region, there are so many incredibly talented, educated, amazing entrepreneurs. Yeah. And we just need to connect them to capital.
Yeah.
And then you can engage this whole segment of the society in incredibly productive ways that allow you to do amazing things for the economies and the societies.
Totally.
And so that's what I think, allowing people the finance mechanisms to do this, unbelievable.
And so one of my friends, Abdullah, in Beirut is actually building a crowdfunding platform called Zumal.
Yep.
And so because here, we've just launched a campaign and PayPal doesn't work, you know what I mean? So that's, there's still some hurdles and some issues that need to be resolved, but the fact that there's now a venture-backed company building a platform there, to me is a good sign that there's hope, and I think things are going to look very bright, and I think this thing is just going to grow everywhere. And you and I have talked about a number of countries that you're talking to, and with governments and banks and politicians and investors, and so anything we can do to help spread the word in the Middle East specifically, or anywhere, let us know.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for making time. And what do you think about South by so far? Crazy?
South by's crazy. I think one of the things, I was just talking to some other people about it, and they were saying, the last few years, the big opportunity has been like to launch. What's the big app going to be?
Yeah.
And this year, it's almost like people are saying, well, apps are apps. There's so many apps out there. Then people are starting to think about what are the bigger sort of societal shifts that are out there. And I think that's why crowdfund investing is getting so much play here, is because it's the key to everything. So this year, right now, it's all about how many likes and tweets and friends you've got. Next year, it's going to be about how much money did you raise at South by and from how many people. And then you can go back to the angel group or the venture capital group that you've been talking to and go, here, look, I raised this money from the crowd.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Jason. Well, thanks for making time.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Great seeing you.
Thanks for joining us here. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next interview. Peace.
Thanks.